In a world ruled by predators, survival often came down to speed or strength. But one dinosaur chose a different path entirely. Instead of outrunning danger, it became something danger couldn't overcome. Covered in armor and built like a living fortress, this creature didn't flee when threatened, it stood its ground. And when predators came too close, they faced something far more dangerous than they expected. This is Ankylosaurus. Hello, explorers. I'm Landon Brooks, and welcome back to the Dinosaur Dude. If you're enjoying the journey, be sure to like and subscribe for more cinematic explorations of the prehistoric world. It really helps. Today, we're uncovering how Ankylosaurus became one of the most heavily defended and most difficult to defeat dinosaurs to ever exist. Ankylosaurus was unlike anything else in its world. Its body was covered in thick, bony armor, plates embedded directly into its skin, forming a natural shield that protected it from above and along its sides. This wasn't decoration, it was defense, evolved over millions of years. For predators, attacking an Ankylosaurus wasn't just difficult, it was dangerous. There were no easy entry points, no exposed weaknesses. Every angle presented resistance, turning what should have been prey into a serious risk. Even its posture reflected its purpose. Low to the ground, wide and heavily built, Ankylosaurus minimized its vulnerable areas. Its underside, the one place predators might target, was kept close to the earth, making it nearly impossible to reach. This design forced attackers to confront its strongest defenses head-on, removing the element of surprise. Predators couldn't simply flip it or attack from below without exposing themselves. It didn't rely on escape. It relied on control. And in doing so, it dictated how every encounter would unfold. But defense alone wasn't enough. In a world filled with large predators like Tyrannosaurus rex, even the most heavily armored dinosaur needed a way to respond. And Ankylosaurus had exactly that. At the end of its tail sat a massive club, solid, dense, and built for impact. This wasn't just a passive structure. It was actively used, capable of delivering powerful, targeted strikes when predators came too close. And once that distance was closed, the advantage could shift instantly. A single swing of that tail could have been enough to break bone. Some scientists believe it was capable of shattering the legs of a predator, instantly ending the threat. And because Ankylosaurus didn't rely on speed, it could conserve energy, remaining still, watching and waiting. This created a dangerous standoff. Predators couldn't rush in blindly, but they couldn't stay too far away either. Every movement became a calculated risk. This forced predators to adapt their approach. Instead of direct attacks, they may have circled, tested, and waited for signs of weakness. But Ankylosaurus was built for endurance. It could hold its ground for extended periods, forcing the predator to make the first move. And in that moment, when distance closed and timing mattered most, the balance could shift instantly. Because while it appeared slow and unresponsive, it was always prepared to strike. What makes Ankylosaurus so remarkable isn't just its armor or its weapon, it's how perfectly those features worked together. Every part of its body contributed to survival. Its low stance, reinforced skull, armored plating, and tail club formed a complete defensive system. There were no wasted traits, no unnecessary features. Everything served a purpose. It didn't just resist attack. It discouraged it entirely, turning potential predators into hesitant observers. In a landscape filled with hunters, Ankylosaurus didn't dominate through aggression or intimidation. It dominated through consequence, through the simple fact that attacking it came with real risk. A predator had to decide whether the effort was worth the potential injury or worse? And in many cases, the answer may have been no. It wasn't the fastest, and it wasn't the most aggressive, but it may have been the most difficult to defeat. And in a world where survival was never guaranteed, that made all the difference. For Ankylosaurus, survival wasn't about speed or even size. It was about becoming something that simply couldn't be overcome. What once seemed like a slow, armored herbivore was something far more formidable. A creature designed not just to endure, but to resist. Because in the end, Ankylosaurus didn't need to chase or flee. It stood its ground. A living fortress where every strike carried consequence and every encounter came with risk.